So thank you very much for joining me today. Of course, this is Martin from Åskväder, and I'm sure I'm the first person to pronounce that right.
Yeah, you are. It's perfect. Flawless.
I didn't have any help at all. But yet the self-titled debut album is out now. Like I say, it's been a relatively short journey from 2017 up till I believe it was March the album was released.
Yes,
so,
that's correct.
Yep. You've said you've had some experience in releasing records before with a previous band.
Yeah, correct. I've had 2 bands where we've released records, and the other guys, the bass player Staffan, he released an album recently with his death punk band Let Them Hang.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And I think Jon had a band called Dödaren who released some albums as well, more stoner rock. So yeah, we've been doing this for a while. We're elderly men, so it was not an entirely new sensation for us to release an album, but really cool to do it on LP. That's the first for me. Yeah. So before it's only been CDs.
You say you're elderly men now, but it doesn't sound like the music of elderly men. It's got such not aggression, but such an energy and like a really excitable energy to it. So it's no one would believe that you're elderly.
No, thank you. No, that was maybe a bit of the modification to the truth, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not that old, but
No.
so no, exactly. I tried to keep the songwriting in that way to create an energy, of course. And when we rehearse and arrange the songs, it's really important that we have this flow and it feels nice and not boring during any parts of the songs. Should be catchy and hitty.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably none more so than God's Grace, which of course you've only just released the video for.
Yeah.
And the video is a lot of fun.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun recording it.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I just saw the thumbnail and you could see like the creature kind of thing. Yeah. And I thought you'd gone death metal.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. But
yeah,
it's
like that with YouTube. You only, or I'm not tech wizard as we discussed previously, but you got to choose between 3 different thumbnails, and that was the least bad one. So I took that one.
Would you say it's a good representation of the whole album?
Yes, I would. It was actually our choice of let's say the first single, God's Grace, but we released it as the second single. But I would say it sums it up. The album, I would say.
Pretty good. The album's also quite notable in that you've got a few guest appearances on there. Robert Persson.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Marlin Strowski.
Yeah.
So how did these collaborations come about?
Robert was he was the guy who we wanted to mix to do the mix for the album.
Okay.
And I had recorded it's the second solo of the 5th song called Give In.
Yeah.
Which he plays. And I had recorded a solo, but I couldn't really get a hang of it. And usually I love this part when we play it live because I improvise the solo and it's a really good time. But during the recording sessions, I couldn't really get a nice solo flowing. And I was just not inspired at all, I would say. So we left it pretty, let's say, not finished. And I had an idea about that I wanted Robert to play on the album. And so I asked him and he said, I don't know. But then he did. And it's an amazing solo. So I'm really happy that he did that.
Good. And what about the guest vocals from Marlin?
Marlin is Staffan's girlfriend. the bass
okay.
player's girlfriend. Yeah. So I think they were just fooling around and was drinking a couple of beers. I wasn't there when they recorded it.
Oh, okay then.
So Molly met up, and the plan was actually that she would sing on more songs, but we didn't really have the time. So, but she
Okay.
has a really good voice.
Well, it's interesting because obviously I had to look up both musicians, and I could see a lot about Robert, but with Marlon, it was all I could find was in Polish, and my Polish is worse than my Swedish. So
yeah. I think her family originally, like 100 years ago, came from Poland. So,
okay.
So that's why.
Yeah. But it's a good label that I think that you've released the album with, The Sign.
Yeah.
Were they quite forthcoming in approaching you, or was it a case of sending out demos like the old school way?
Yeah. To be honest, here we released an EP. The first thing we did was in 2018, I think. Yeah. Or yeah, would be beginning of 2018. Or was it later? No, mid 2018. Sorry. And for that one, it was the thing with sending demos to everyone, and we had an American record label for a while who released this EP. But then the thoughts of the Sign were there all the time, because I really like that label. There's good bands on the label. We know many of the bands, so we're friends with them. So I had a discussion with Kai, who is one of the managers. I sent demos to him, etc. And then for this album, we only spoke to Kai, to be honest. We didn't send it to multiple labels. He was reacting to some of the, let's say, pre-productions. He told me this is starting to sound really good.
Cool.
So I was just crossing my fingers, and he said, "Yeah, make the product, the ready-made product, and then we can discuss." So it was more or less a long conversation over a couple of years with Kai.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so we wanted to do it with them, and we've been really happy with the cooperation so far. They're down to earth guys, really easy to communicate with, quick answers. They want the best for the music and the best for us, so it's perfect. Win-win. Yeah.
Obviously, it would have been great to see the band team up with other groups from the label, but of course, right now, touring is more or less cooled off.
Yeah,
indefinitely.
Terribly. We didn't even get to have a release party because the COVID, I think, struck just the week after or something here in Sweden when we released the album. And our plan was to have a release party beginning of April, but we had to cancel, and then we had some gigs booked and some really cool collaborations, which I was looking forward to with other bands, which also were cancelled. So right now we're looking at beginning of September, I think, or maybe something in August as well here in Sweden, if things sort themselves out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been terrible.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope it does, because I want to see you over here, man.
Yeah. We would love to come.
Good. So it must be like extra frustrating that you just released this debut album from the band.
Yeah.
And just so limited in what you can do to promote it.
Exactly.
Obviously, the video just dropped, but are there any ways you've discussed being able to promote the album a bit further online or through other means?
Yeah, we have a competition right now where you can win some goodies, some LPs signed, and some new T-shirts, which we just have released. Okay. And we are currently discussing in doing some live recordings in a studio. Right. But our current bass player has a lung disease, so he's a risk group, and that is a bit problematic, meeting other people and stuff like that. So we're postponing it all the time, but hopefully in a couple of weeks we will be able to do this if things get better.
Okay.
So, but as you mentioned, it's a real problem because we were, to be honest, we were awaiting some income while playing, because we always sell a lot of merch. We sell LPs and stuff like that when we're out playing, and we're kind of hoping for that to be able to start the pre-production of next album.
Okay.
But right now we're of course we have sold some LPs, but I think it would be better if we were out on the road. You always sell more when you play live.
I think that's normally the best best venue to sell things, because people have just seen you and they're all excited. So,
and probably had a couple of beers as well.
Well, that's true. Yeah. That being said, I don't drink, and I came back from the last gig I went to with loads of Wolves merchandise. So.
Perfect.
If we can discuss the music itself for a moment, they say it's a lot more influenced by kind of like the 90s rock from Sweden, bands like the Helicopters and things like that.
Yep.
How do you see the status of rock music today? And the reason I ask is because I was doing an interview with Danko Jones a while ago. And he said to me that he thinks rock music now is basically the same as jazz, in that it's a very small following now, but a very, very loyal one.
Exactly, I would say the same. My first thought when you started to ask is that the fans are really devoted, and I am a fan myself, so I will always buy a lot of merch, and so maybe there's fewer guys going to the shows, or let's say a devoted few, but I would say that they're really good fans. And interacting, we have got a lot of love from all over the world for this record, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, what I heard sounds really good. So once this is done, I've got another interview in a couple of hours, but I'm going to make time to listen to the album before that. So
sounds great.
Yeah,
hopefully you will enjoy.
I'm sure I will. But it's interesting as well. You guys are from Göteborg, and which is, of course, very well known for death metal, particularly melodic death metal. Coming up as like a more traditional, if you like, rock band, do you face like a harder time booking gigs and that kind of thing because there's more of a death metal scene, or is there still?
No, I would say it's the opposite nowadays. Almost all of no, not all of them, but a lot of bands on the sign actually are from Gothenburg. You have Hot Breath, which are in the same genre more or less as we are. The Drippers, who also are a really good band, by the way, also from Gothenburg. You have Graveyard from Gothenburg. So I would say there is a good rock scene here. We've had some problems with clubs dying. It's a problem in Sweden. It's been the same in Stockholm. A lot of good clubs where you could play are closing, and But I would say the rock scene is good, and the bands are helping each other out. We also have Scumbag Millionaire, which is another great band from here.
Yeah.
So no, I'm. But yeah, as you said, many of the big ones are of course into death metal. But Graveyard is big.
Yeah, I saw them in Belgium a few years ago. They were really good.
Yeah, amazingly good.
Martin, thank you very much for taking time to speak to me today, mate. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
Sorry it took so long with the Skype.
No, it was my fault. As mentioned, I'm no tech wizard.
Nor am I really, so it's okay.
Cool.
Tack så mycket.
Tack själv. Thank you.
All the best, mate. Bye now.
Yep, same to you. Stay safe. Thanks.
You too.